no two-a-days. I mean, all your typical things, recruiting things and that angle, what's best for the game. And I think general consensus is we're still evaluating those processes and where we need to go and suggestions. I mean, there's not because it's happened so quickly, there's not a consensus on exactly what is exactly right because we haven't had enough time to digest it. And it was weird because it got thrown on us without a year delay. You know what I mean? It just came in and boom, they said, okay, you can't have two-a-days and all that. So we're trying to evaluate through all that and what's best. And whatever's safest for the kids and the best we'll come to a conclusion on.
What do you think of the December 20th early signing date that they
I'm not again, I was never for that. I always wanted it early to take a lot of pressure off kids and coaches and that whole thing. And I said, you're talking about the schedule you're into, and it's going to be stay there. There's nothing you can do. But you're talking about now you're getting ready for a bowl game and a playoff game, and you're practicing all day, and you're flying out all night, getting back at 2 in the morning, getting up at 6 in the morning, and going. You're going to be doing that for 2.5, 3 weeks. I mean, in those preparations, I mean, you're going to drain because it's a national signing day. So I mean, from those things, you're asking for a big deal, and I think it's something that I don't agree with, but it is here to stay, and for at least for another 2 years or so till they evaluate the process.
What's the bonus of it? What's the benefit of it for you?
We always
don't have to recruit the kids.
Here's the thing: the original thing was the guys that are committed. You had all these early commitments. Let's find out who it is. Take some pressure off the kids. Get them signed. Take some pressure off coaches. There's a less group of guys you got to have. Well, then it manifested itself into this, and it started into the early visits in April, May, and June. And I mean, this whole thing of, I mean, you're opening up Pandora's box now. I mean, as far as it's a hard-driven thing for coaches now. I mean, they're going to be. That's 8 months of wide open recruiting with visits and everything else. That's a big thing to go through, but we'll sort through it as a group and find out what the consensus is.
Would it be helpful though, like January 4th? You know, you have 11 kids that you don't have to recruit them.
Well, I mean, it definitely is, but me personally, I don't see the significance of December being 1 month early with all the ramifications you're going to have to go through going through the whole year. And doing bowl practice, you're in a conference championship. You got conference championship games now. I mean, you're getting ready for a playoff game, and you're back to working those hours before. At least that last week, you had time to practice because it was a dead week, and you could, just concentrate on your bowl game. You know what I'm saying? When those days, they're the hardest days of all. I mean, because you're coaching and recruiting at a high level, so it's very difficult. But everybody's in the same boat, so figure through it and go.
Jimbo, do you like the idea that's been floated about extending the red shirt to 4 games and maybe having some of these red shirts playing bowl games?
I think you do. I think for player safety, it's a good rule because I think at the end of the year if a guy has developed himself in ready to play, he might not have been ready early, and all of a sudden you've had some injuries. In those last 4 games, you could get him, whether he's on special teams or they've incorporated themselves into playing time of maturity or whatever. I think that is a significant thing to do, and I think it's a good thing. I think it'll help player safety, especially with the low number of scholarships you have, with things that the accumulation of. Could be one of those years you have injuries or people to take less plays off for a guy late in the year. I think it's a very applicable good rule.
Does it seem like most of the league coaches would be in favor of that?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
You had before talked about maybe having 5 years to play 5.
I talked about that. It didn't get much traction in the thing, and but I don't know. But that was something I did, is eliminate the whole thing because if a guy's ready, he's ready. And listen, if he graduates in 4 years, he's out of there anyway. He's not playing 5. And if he's good enough, he's leaving in 3 anyway. So you're not going to have many guys that are going to stay 5 years because they're all graduating. And most of those guys do, but it didn't go. So this is kind of a catch-all to that.